You are welcome again to Coding Academy. This is one of the best chapter where we are going to discuss about the clean code. How can we write the clean code? What are the steps that required so that we can write the clean code? It is so simple and it is very understandable and it is very useful because it works with the search engine optimizer. In the search engine optimizer, it is a software that is built within the Google, and it is responsible for just the supplying a well-built website. So the way that we can write the clean code, there is no other way. For example, I have here cleared the path with this simple HTML which I called shabby.html, because you see the way it is. We have a div class. You can see hello world, the div inside the another div inside another div inside the content inside this, and when you control alt p to see what will come after, you can see now we have that thing which looks like that. It is so shabby to see the website that is looking like this, and you have declared the classes of the header, the container, the header of 01, the header 02, inside the container, instead of letting each and every element, if it is the header, you can write heading 1. But the well-built website can be looking like this. You can see inside the body you must start with the header, and inside the header you can put there the heading 1 if it is the one that you want, which is the paragraph, followed by the main, which is the main container that must be pressed once in the document that contains the HTML codes. And that is hypertext markup language, and I've already declared it's a past part, which it says a simple education that every beginner can do with. So you can see the hierarchy of how this simple document is built. It is different from this shabby document. Instead of, you can see this shabby document, the header being the class, we didn't say do the same thing inside this document which is well built. Do you see this is a divider, and instead of saying that we want the divider, you will see the header being like that, having the heading inside, and the main, which is the container which encloses other different containers like div, like list, like tables, and the main must be pressed inside the document once in the HTML document. So you can see, and by the end we put there a footer. This footer, it is the end part, the last part of the document. When you control alt p, you will see that this document is well built. You can see this is inside the head, this is inside the main, and when you get at the end part, this is the footer, and I'm showing you that this is the footer. I'm not yet written the CSS code to show that it must be the footer, but inside the VS Code Studio you can see we followed the hierarchy. We begin with the content that is a header, which contain everything that must belong inside the header the way you wanted to build the website. And inside the main, you can see we've pressed there the section. A section is another type of the container which is heavy in HTML, and it encloses something that you say a section 1 inside the main. You can class it by class being 1, for example, and you can create the section 2, section 3, section 4, and you will see by the section you can come here, and when you do a simple trick and say, for example, inside the tile, inside the head, we can put there the style saying our .1 like that, and you put there border 1 pixel solid, for example lead, Control S to save, and you can see the border of that container. This container fulfills with this content, which is good or yellow, which is an ordered list, and this button, and you can increase it. But this above is the header, this is the middle part, which is the main, and this is the footer part. If you want me to give the simple visibility of this container, let's say the header, having also the border of 1 pix solid yellow, for example, and even the footer having, for example, border of 1 pix solid green, for example. And you can see when you finally did this, you can see the header have its container, the body, which is main, have its container, and hello I come back, which is the last part, which must be included inside the footer. So this one I cannot even press there. I can say only main, because it is the main container in which everything is included, and it must be once written in every HTML document, because it covers it, or it contains other containers, which are the box and which are the box which holds the other contents. So the second thing that you can do is to know how to organize your file. Please, if you are writing the document, the document that is related to coding, name it first. Create the file, for example, and you say document dot css like this, and create another document dot js like this. You can see. And when you want to allow the access to the HTML, you grab this style and get deleted, because you have already written the document which will contain that codings that changes or transforms the colors of other elements on the website. So you come here inside this HTML and you say I want the link to link it with the CSS, and you write the document dot css like this, and below it, below every link that is within, you can put here, let's say put here for at the end of every link to other document, we must put here JavaScript like this, sources, and you come here below it and you just write script like this, and inside the script you just declare the source where they will come from, and say I want that they come from this document.js like that. And when you try something, for example, alright, hello world like that, Control S to save, you can see something have happened that you have linked already our JS with this code. Or you can grab this script, Control X, and you put at the end of the footer. Please, if you are still writing the script and you put above the footer, you are doing the mistake. The three parts that must be included inside the body is only the header, main, and the footer, and inside the main is where everything that is visible, not links. Like it's, for example, you want to build the website for the items that sells the items, e-commerce, everything must be included in main, but inside the footer must be their links, some direction, some address, and below the footer you must put there the script also. It must be pressed at this end. So the other thing that you must do is to know that you must clean the CSS, which is clean and very reusable. If you wanted that script to be reusable, CSS which must be reusable, for example, I want that this button that we see must have the height, for example, of 40 pixels. Background color, for example, you want yellow like that, and you want the padding of 2.3 m, emphasis m, and 0.6 m. So you can see when you end with this, you can see the button is already changed. You can see. And when there are multiple buttons, for example, you want to grab this button. Where is the button? Here it is. And you control C and you paste it like this, like this, like this. You can't come inside. Let's first save. Yes, control S to save. When you see the button have increased in a number, but for example you see some button and you say inside the document you want the class of that button. For example, this button is, for example, class red. You can see the second, you can say class blue like that, and you can come here and say class green like that, and when you come here you say again class blue. You can see, and you before creating without creating the global rule that every button we have, like this, that I said that I must create every button to be height with that, background with that, padding with that. These are the global declaration of every button. Let me just clean this, and when you back to HTML, you can see our button. What is happening? Yes, you can see our button have global declaration with no background color or font changed or border radius. This is the global declaration. You can come here and say I want now dot red button, dot red. Now here dot green, dot green, green, and you again copy this, control C, and you paste them here, control S to save. And when you see something have changed, other have become weird, but other are very looking very cool. You can see you must care about global declaration instead of only repeating each and everything with CSS. So then we can go to writing JavaScript. The fourth part is to know how you can write your JavaScript. JavaScript is case-sensitive language. Case-sensitive language with everything that you can write there must be also different from another based on the location or where it is located. For example, the first mistake that many coders used to do is that when they create the simple function and say simple function must be C, you can see the function that is looking like that. No, this is very mistake. You must first get the function like this and name it with the create name, or and you name it like calculate caps lock area, for example. You can see now calculate the area, and you can see how our function is very explainable to those who will either want to know what is the code that built this software, this web app. you cannot put there this sheet which is looking C. What is C? C, it is just a letter which doesn't explain anything, and you can't know whether it is doing something inside the document. So another thing that you can care about within JavaScript, you must care that you must use camel case. For example, let name is, for example, equal to coding academy. You can see the problem with this name. You can see the camel case is to say that the first word may either begin with no capital letter followed by inside either a capital letter that is for another word. Instead of writing this, you must say let name caps lock of name caps lock of people, you see, equal to, for example, American. You can see this is just a name that is very explainable and doesn't have the problem with the JavaScript. You must follow the camel case ways, and you can use underscore, you can use that simple inline tick that you have no other problem. So that is the main thing that you must care about. And if the element, for example, if the variable like this is global, doesn't belong inside the scope, for example inside the function var name equal to, for example, 13 12 var, let's create another function for what, for example, sample like that, and you name it example, and let's just say sample, and say name equal to, for example, 23. You can see somehow this, when you write it in a same this GS document, the name can be ticked to say that it is an error, but it can be used, there is no problem. The difference between this outside variable and inside the variable is to say that the inside the variable, it is scoped, it cannot be accessed outside, but var can be accessed. This var, which is name, which is equal to 12, can be accessed inside and outside to show that it is global. So don't make the mistake of trying to grab the global scope inside what, a function. So this is very, very important. Then another thing that you must know is to know consistency is the king. That is to say, when you are writing the strings like this, when you come here inside the string, for example, let name equal to coding academy, here about that, when you want to press there any other thing and you say I want to replace this simple from one code to double code, that will be a big problem. You can see that saying that indeterminate string is literal. You must use the main way, you use a double quote, you use single quote, and when you come here inside the document, make sure the indentation is this distance that you see must be either 4 or 2. That is very, you can see where they tell us the spaces, indentation, and when you put there, you wanted to change the spaces or change the view, you can come here and say I want 8. You see 8 spaces will span will be from here either to here, and you will find that this is the last position where you will be writing your code. So this is very crucial part of writing the clean code. Don't do the same mistake while you are making the very useful website, very important website. I have said everything. The quick summary that you must remember is that you must follow, you must know that everything that you put there inside the browser or your document is accessed by search engine optimization, and the search engine optimization follows the way the website is written, is coded. You see inside this, you see it seems shabby, but here we begin with putting inside the body header, which is this upper section, main, which is the middle section, and the footer followed by the JavaScript at the end. So now to write the semantics of HTML, keep CSS clean, write modular JavaScript to say that you must write very well written JavaScript by following the laws, and then consistency to keep exercising yourself as a king. So know again that you must comment each and everything that you want inside your document, so that in case you're stuck while recording, you will begin by saying that he was here and I'm going to do this thing. So thank you again. If this video was very useful to you, don't leave without liking, share, and subscribe. Here is Coding Academy. It is the vibrant channel for everyone who wish to study coding. Don't hesitate, this is the right path for you.